Hello, in this video we're going to talk about events and syncing events between Gecko and Connect and Gecko and vice versa and all the fun stuff. Exactly what this looks like, how it works, how student information is passed over, what that looks like in both systems, so on and so forth. A couple of disclaimers and things to note. It is very much a two-way integration that we have between Gecko. So if somebody's added to an event in Gecko, it pushes across to Connect. If that status in Connect is updated, we push that status back to Gecko, and so on. That said, we can only push the top level of the event over to Connect. Unfortunately, Connect doesn't let us push session information. So if you have a really complex event, we can only mark the overall attendance as opposed to the attendance on the individual sessions. But there are a lot of creative workarounds that could allow you to still do that. Anyway, let's get started with this. In order to sync events between Gecko and Connect, we're going to go to Settings and our Integrations page and click into our Connect integration. We're going to go to the events page, and if we scroll down, we can actually see the currently active events. Now, it may be that you have pages upon pages. I have a small test account here, so there's not an awful lot going on, but specifically, I'm interested in pulling over and creating a new Gecko summer event. So this is an existing event in Connect, and a good disclaimer here is to point out that if you want to sync an event in Connect and Gecko, the event does need to exist in Connect first. We can't push up an event from Gecko to nothing. We have to have something to latch onto. So in this case, here's my summer event, and I can tell Gecko that I either want to create a brand new Gecko event that maps to this, or I can say I've already got an existing event on Gecko with all of my workflows set up and everything that I'd like to map this to. If you didn't want to do this and you want to automate things, we do give you the ability to automatically import all of your events, and the basic, this will look for new events that have been created in Gecko very frequently. I think it's every hour or 30 minutes, and it'll automatically pull it over into Gecko, so you've got that event right there to save you the trouble. Anyway, for this case, we want to map this event. Here is the event right here on Connect. So let's go ahead and map that event. And if we go back to our page, we can see we have our Gecko summer event that is now syncing with the Connect Gecko summer event. Super stuff. Now what I want to do to just illustrate what this looks like with attendees is we're going to add, let's say let's say one student. Let's add a student into, let's go two, let's go wild. We'll add two different contacts into our overall event here. And this will sync very often, but in fact it's already trying to sync, which is super. Upon me adding the students there, it takes a couple of seconds to push across, and we should hopefully see these student records be updated in our event momentarily. Okay, good news. About 30 seconds after we paused, both of those students have now synced, and if we hop over to the event and check the hosting tools, we can now see them both marked as registered in the event. Now what I'm going to try and do is let's push over a change in attendance. So let's imagine Johnny decides to come up to our event. They've got their ticket. I'm going to scan them in with Gecko's offline scanning app, and what we're going to do is that's immediately going to mark them as attended. What's going to happen is that is then going to push over to the event, and we should see that hopefully get updated. But let's imagine that, can we change this status? I'm not 100% familiar on how to do this, but let's mark the contact as, let's say, let's go attended as well. Let's say, I was going to say declined. Let's go and mark that there. So they did attended, but we should hopefully see when that event syncs that both contacts on Gecko will be pulling through attended, and both of them will be attended on Connect. So we'll let that sync happen, which again should take about 45 seconds, a minute or so, and we'll examine the data. Okay, it was quite literally about 25 seconds, so pretty much on the money there. Both contacts in Gecko are now showing as attended. And if I go to hosting tools again, we can see both of them are marked as attended in the event on Connect as well. So we're pushing across. And again, just as a quick recap, for this student, we updated that attendance in Gecko and it's pushed across to Connect. And for this student, we updated the attendance in Connect and that has pulled through to Gecko. So it is very much the definition of a two-way integration. And again, all we had to do to get this set up was to go to settings, integrations, and we've told Gecko, pull this event in.